Hey everybody, I do apologize for the delay this evening. There was a serious accident with the electricity. It's a long story. My air conditioner went out, and I was trying to patch things together and disconnected everything from the internet, and I had a hard time getting it to start again. So I apologize. How long have we been going? 7 minutes. Okay, that's better than I thought it was. I've been panicking here and sweating because it's hot as Hades in here. How's everybody doing? Of course, when I started at 8 o'clock, thinking everything was working and we were still online, I said hi to everybody, but I need to say hi again, especially to Bud, who's the first person in the door tonight. Bud? And that, I imagine, was you calling me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I was on this one, but just taking my time, I'm afraid. I got my Croyle today, and it was almost exploding in the mailbox. It was so hot. And we need to talk about it because I don't think it's oil. It looks like some kind of poison, pink poison, and it stinks. Is that the same stuff? It's it appears to be nasty fluid. I've had problems with cameras today. I've got my phone and my camera were stuck up there and I couldn't get them down, but they don't work because the camera's too heavy and the phone just has misbehaved all day. Let me see. David Brown is here from Maine, where it's cool again, and Chris is here from Vienna, where it's not. Welcome, Chris. I had put some messages in to folks as I was getting ready to go before I pulled the plug on the internet. So, hey, Bruce, good to see you, and also Borderland. I see Laura's here, Susan is here. Susan, thank you so much for the kind note. It is overly generous of you, and I will explain to you why I couldn't in a million years do that. I was going to talk about that camera tonight, but technical difficulties have kept me away from doing the research. So, I haven't got anything useful to share with you. You need to tell me what the camera's like. I hear it's fantastic. We're talking about the new Z8, by the way, the new D850 of the Z line. Apparently, it's the thing, and I'm very excited to see it. I don't know when I will get to see it. I don't know if they'll have them at the local camera shop, but we'll see. I'm sure they will. Robert is here. Welcome, Robert, and you're back from Woodstock. Yeah, you've had 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. You should be back from Woodstock. I know some people who aren't, but I get it. Anyway, let me see. What were you doing up there? You're not saying. Okay, fair enough. Greetings, Amy. Glad you're here. I appreciate all you do. Thank you so much for helping with the diffuser fiasco that isn't quite over yet, because I'm discovering new people I've slighted in the process, but I've got plenty of material left. I'll get it to everybody in eventually. You should have got yours though, Amy, fairly recently. The stuff is fantastic. You've just got to use it to see how good it is. It's wonderful material. But I do appreciate you getting all the names and the addresses. That I couldn't have figured out how to do that, not in this century anyway. So thank you. Let me see. Toluca's here. Greetings. And Walter is here. Walter, you are on the list of people that I need to apologize to and send diffusion to. But I'm waiting until I've got all of them together so that I can just make one more trip to the post office, which is a very stressful time for me because of, we won't go there. Let me see. Who else is here? Ron Jenkins from Toronto. Ron, you have not been before, have you? Or have you? And did I just ignore you when you were here before? I think possibly you haven't. If this is your first time, welcome. The people here will welcome you too, and you're in a good group. If you like macro photography, this is the place to be on Tuesdays. I think. I mean, I have to be here, so I would say that, wouldn't I? But there you go. Joseph. Yes, Joseph, you should have got your stuff too. It went out last week. Good. Let me see. Snapshot. Have we met before? Snapshot 1. I don't think so. Good evening. Welcome to Macro Talk. We just talk about macro stuff, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I am going to say something about the Fusion 360 workshop that is coming up. I have not been able to get face-to-face with Josh to figure out when we're going to do this. He's been super busy at work. I'm always super busy, so we keep crossing paths. It hasn't yet been set up, but what I am thinking of, seeing as there is interest and a lot of people wanted to do this, we have our very own experts internally. To name a couple, there's Bud and of course Larry, and both of these folks are excellent with the tool. So I was thinking maybe if Josh is going to be tied up a while, we could do an interim thing. Just get together on a Saturday, say, for an hour or two, and just talk about the basic tools, that type of thing. Just to get us all started, so that we can get a little bit ahead of the game before Josh's lesson. Just saying. What do you think, guys? You want to do that, or let me ask the people who I'd be asking to do the teaching first. But I think it would be good. Talking about special things. This Saturday, we don't have a presume because it's an other Saturday, but we do have, in a very few short days, a competition that will test your metal as a stereo photographer. And I thought that this Saturday, seeing as I'll have a little bit of, I won't be presuming, I thought I'd maybe do a little practice myself, and I thought if I just did it live, you guys could join if you wanted to. So I'll announce it when I decide for sure, but I'm thinking Saturday morning, sometime around 9 o'clock my time. I'll do an hour or two, just do a couple of stereos, start to finish, the whole shebang. Probably an easy one and a tough one. And you can just come and ask questions or just watch or sleep. You can go back to bed and just leave it turned on. It's all good with me. I won't tell a soul. So if you want to do that give me a notice this evening that you're interested. And if I get enough people, then I'll definitely get up on Saturday and do it. Otherwise, I won't bother. Is Angie here tonight? Probably not. It's 4 o'clock in the morning there. Angie's judging the flowers with me this month. That's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun. She's such a bright person and a great photographer. So it's going to be great. Sam P is here. So that croil, Sam, is it supposed to not be oil? I thought it was oil. And what comes out of the thing is pink and poisonous and stinks to high heaven. I haven't put it on anything yet. But yeah, is it supposed to be like that? It says on the can, it doesn't say oil. It says croil, and then underneath it says poison, I think, is all it says. I don't know what to do with it. I'm afraid to be in the same room with it because of the fumes. Okay, the universe is telling somebody something. Yeah, well, okay. That's okay, Larry. I was just talking about you. That's probably what it was. Your messages were getting crossed. Al's here. All right, let me see. Yeah, everybody agrees. Oh, yeah, and Bud says croil is pink and smells. And it says original penetrant on it. That's it. Well, it's not what I thought. I'm not going to oil things with it, that's for sure, because it'll penetrate them, I think. So there you go. Yes, I was late myself, as well as Al. All Als were late this Tuesday night, I think. Let me see. Any other message? I'm going to ignore all the ones that say, hey, where's Allan? He's not here. Yeah, that's probably all of the next 10 messages. Let me see. Are you up for it, Larry, that idea I had? Would you be interested? That would be great. Oh, Walter, you already got your stuff. I must have mailed yours in the first wave of the second wave. Well, I'm glad it arrived. Good. All right. Are cross-eyed versions of the stereo allowed? Absolutely. You can present your stereo cross-eyed, parallel, both with a triplet of images. Something else you can do if you wish is You can do a natural stereo photograph where you move the camera, or you can do a synthetic one the way Rick does it. So yeah, any way that you can present a stereogram for us to judge. And I say us to judge, you know that Rick's going to judge this. I mean, yeah, he judges mine, so he'll judge yours too. He won't be as harsh with you as he is with me, but yeah, we'll definitely do that. Okay, let me see. Let's see who else is here. So yeah, cross-eyed or stereo or parallel, whichever way you want to do it, doesn't matter. Everybody who's coming who can't do cross-eyed will probably, you know what? If you submit it in a form that I can throw it up into, not throw it up, you know, put it up into Xerine Stacker, then I can flip it. You know what? We've got time to actually make a rule about that, don't we? Because I can't see the things cross-eyed. Not if I've got to look at 100 of them. Yeah, let me think about it. I think probably it would be best to get you to send in both. That way I could put them both up and everybody could see them. Because it's going to be a fun show, the results. Okay, I'll think about it. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. And Bud's interested in a Saturday stereo, so we'll do that. That's enough. If Bud's interested, I'll do it. Let me see. So Snapshot's used it on his rusted nuts and bolts. Don't blame you. Yeah, I probably do it on that, but I was expecting something oily. But that's clearly my problem, though. Arthur, you want to show up on Saturday, so there you go. Well, now there's 3 of us, so we'll definitely do it. Great. Chris from Adelaide, Australia, wants to give a massive shout out to Michelle for sharing her presentation template. It has been modified for local needs and come up awesome. Michelle, that is so sweet of you to do that. Above and beyond. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I actually am a big believer in the sharing presentations thing. I don't know if you've ever made a presentation. I have done hundreds of them, and they are time consuming. I put a lot of work into them. But when somebody only does a presentation once every couple of years to their photography club, I am happy to give them my slide deck and have them present, their material around those pictures, because, there's no reason for us all to do that. So, I lend mine out quite often. And it's all good because it gets people interested in macro. So there you go. But I didn't realize Michelle was doing that. That's fantastic. Great. Great. And Larry says he'll do an intro to 360. So I wonder if we could combine the two. No, that would probably just confuse the living snot out of me. Wouldn't know whether I was coming or going. No, we won't do that. We'll do them separately. Curly Toes is here. Greetings, sir. Good to see you. And I'm going to tell you what we're doing tonight, because otherwise, because I was a few minutes late, we're going to run out of time. We're talking about maintaining your equipment, and especially maintaining the nuts and bolts, cameras and lenses that you have, especially the ones that are a little bit older. Because you're going to have to take care of all of your equipment, the new stuff too. But your DSLRs with the mirror mechanism and everything, and the older lenses are significantly less robust than the new stuff that's coming out. And it does really pay to keep them dust free and clean, and keep the lenses dry and clean. I keep my lenses in a climate controlled box, meaning I seal them in a box. All of my photography equipment, since I moved down here to the seaside, is in plastic boxes that have rubbery grommets around the top. So when you put them the lid on and you clamp it down in 6 places, it seals it. And I have inside the box several rechargeable silica gel packs. And I have a cigar humidor moisture meter, hygrometer in there, so that I can keep track of it. because in the summer it'll get to 100% humidity here and everything gets wet, and that's just not good. There are a lot of things that you can do to protect your lenses and your camera that are just plain common sense and don't involve doing anything or buying anything. I'm talking about things like always have lens caps front and back on your lenses when the lens is not being used. That's just obvious. Other things are never leave your camera with the body cap off, because that's how dust gets in there. And we're going to be taking body caps off and putting them back on today. And that is one of the danger times when you've got the innards of your camera exposed. Other things are common sense. If you are a strap user, now I used to use a strap all the time. If you are, it's good to just never pick up a camera that doesn't have the strap wrapped in your hand. If you don't use a strap, it's probably best never to do that. I don't use a strap anymore. I carry my camera in my hand. And yeah, the straps have a nasty habit of being the problem if you're not used to them. You pull things over with them. But yeah, be careful with that. We're going to be talking about cleaning tonight, cleaning sensors and cleaning lenses. And when you clean your sensor, if you have a DSLR, you have to put your mirror up. And something that doesn't get emphasized enough is it takes power to put your mirror up and hold your mirror up. So while you're doing your cleaning, you do not want your camera to suddenly run out of power and slam the mirror down on your swab while it's on the sensor. So be sure to always use a fresh battery. I won't even use my regular plug-in dummy batteries for that, because we get blips in the power around here, and the last thing I want is a blip in the power to shut my mirror. So I use a battery that's fully charged when I do the cleaning, in case I forget to mention that. And there's just a bunch of other little things I want to show you while we're doing this. And then the last thing is, or one of the last things, I was doing a butterfly last night, and I never got to photograph it because I ran out of time, but when I was getting it ready, I noticed its eye was just shocking, in terrible shape. So I cleaned it, and as I was finishing cleaning, I thought, you know what, I should have just waited and done this tomorrow night at the meeting. So I saved the other eye, and I'm going to show you, instead of just telling you, I'm actually going to show you how I clean an eye with Decon, and what the steps are for me. And we won't have time to photograph it tonight, and it's not a big deal, but it's good to know what we're doing. I'll tell you something about the mystery lens a little bit later on, but that is going to be soon, and it's going to be big, and I can't tell you any more. Sworn to secrecy. I am going to very briefly whine about a Godox flash that I am no longer recommending to anybody. The battery powered TT350. I am fed up with that flash. I've been using it for, this is a brand new one that I bought 6 months ago, and I bought brand new batteries, 1.5 volt disposable batteries, which are the only ones that ever worked in that flash. And shot after shot after shot for the last month has been ruined by that flash, flashing half the time and then stopping, and nothing I have done has remedied it. It's just maddening. So I don't use it anymore for anything because I can't rely on it. Whether it's even on the camera, it won't go off all the time. So I don't know if it's just got a problem with its heat sensor and it's just getting over baked in there, or what it is, but yeah, it's just as unreliable as me starting on time in one of these things, so that's no good. So let's go over to my other area, which actually is very close. It's not going to take me very long to get there. I just don't know whether or not my microphone is going to work when I get over there, but we'll see. I'm here already. Am I showing up? Well, you can see my hands, that's the important thing. But can you hear me? Somebody tell me if you can. Actually, it doesn't matter if you can, because I can't see this, the computer screen. I'm just going to assume that you can. All right, I've got a bunch of stuff out here today just to remind me what I need to tell you about. I grabbed my bellows because I was changing a lens, and I finally gave away my last end cap. These caps are a plastic button thing with a screw on them that come with the bellows, and everybody loses them. And they're very important because if you don't have one on there, you can just rack the standard right off the end of the rail like that. And you don't want to do that, especially if there's a camera on. Excuse me, this is not good. It's Bud letting me know that it's barely audible. Okay, that's I'll tell you what. I am going to move the other microphone, and you guys are just going to pretend that. Sorry, that's me. The microphone that I have on the camera is apparently useless, so I'm just going to move my other microphone over there. So just chat amongst yourselves for a few seconds. This won't take a minute. Alrighty. Plan B. That is not going to work. That is not going to work. We have a cable issue. If anybody has a microphone that they don't need, that they want to donate, we will gladly accept a microphone. A USB microphone, a megaphone will be fine too. Just anything. The microphone that I have here is great. I love it, but I can't move it around. I'm going to figure something out. I'm just I'm stalling for time here. I think I might just bring the stuff over here. I was showing you the bellows, and I was explaining how these caps, I give them away to people who lose them, which is everybody who has bellows. They lose the caps. Don't ask me why. If you have an old camera, like I have dozens of them, I collect the things, they all have one of these at the bottom of the case that holds the camera. It's to hold the camera to the case. It's also a perfect button for the end of your bellows, and they do exactly what you need it to do, which is stop the camera sliding off the end. Okay? It's just one of those top tips. So if you bought some old rubbishy camera that doesn't work and you just use it as a decoration, pull the thingy off it, and yeah. The problem is the microphone business is that I cannot use a wireless mic because of the Mac. It will not work with a wireless mic. Curly Toes consulted with me and suggested a thing that I buy, and I bought it and plugged it in and had high hopes for it, but it didn't work. So I did something wrong, is probably what it is. But I can't use a wireless mic. I have to use a microphone like that, and I just don't have an extra one. Well, I do. It's on the camera, but it doesn't work, as you just found out. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get creative here, and I'll do my cleaning right here on this filthy desk, and I'll get the other camera, shall I? I'll get the other camera and point it down here. This is going to go down as one of my most disorganized yet most overly prepared live streams ever. I'm just going to unplug this camera because it wasn't working at all. You should have seen me running around this afternoon. I was afraid I was going to give myself a coronary, dashing from room to room trying to get everything going, and nothing would work. Isn't that terrible? Okay, this is going to work. This is going to work, and it won't matter what I say. Oh, I had the microphone plugged into the wrong hole. I didn't, I'm just joking. Let me focus, and let me see. Let's have a look at that and see if that works. Yeah. We're just professional here. It works. All right, great. This is what we're going to be cleaning. This is what's known as a camera, and I'm going to show you a little trick. Lenses this old. This is a wonderful, wonderful lens. This is a 55 millimeter f2.8 micro Nikkor from about 50 years ago, thereabouts. Robert donated this, and it's just an unbelievable lens. It is so sharp. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But as happens with old lenses, sometimes they get separated from their lens cap. And I don't have a lens cap that fits this particular lens. But I do have an old BR2. And you know, if you take the BR2 that you're not otherwise using and put a body cap on it, or put that's for the butt end of a lens, and put that over the bayonet, then you have a lens protector for one of these old lenses. Just like that. Isn't that clever? I thought so. And anyway, it's on the D850, which is a full frame DSLR, and that's the sensor that we're going to be cleaning today. And we're going to clean this lens. So we'll clean this lens and the sensor. Now, normally when I clean lenses, I clean 3 at a time, maybe 4 at a time. It's pretty random, but I am always cleaning lenses. I go through it. I don't like to sit down and do 30 lenses, but I will do a group. So every weekend I'll take it. I do that, and I sharpen all my chisels at the same time. So there you go. It's just a routine. But cleaning the lens is the one time in your life with the lens, including when you change lenses, is the one time it is at the greatest risk of getting damaged, or your camera getting damaged, when you take it off to clean it and then put it back on, because it's an unfamiliar act for most people compared to the other things we do with it. So having a routine and doing a few things specifically to avoid problems when you're cleaning is a good idea. First thing you need to do is get all your equipment together at the beginning. So I'm going to grab the stuff we need, which is a sensor brush, but you're probably gasping that I put that down on the table. Yeah, you should, because that's a dummy sensor brush. That's from another kit that I'm using to demonstrate. A magnifying glass. I don't even know if they're showing up. No, they're not. I'm going to move this back. Oh, no, I'm not. Not enough cable. Let's see if that's any better. Okay, good. You need a blower. Now, I have both an indoor blower and, oh dear, a broken outdoor blower. This is my outdoor blower from Bud. It's a very powerful blower, only supposed to be used outdoors. Or I misread the instructions, one of those two. By the way, I learned how to pick locks this last weekend. Have you ever tried it? It is absolutely mesmerizing. Great fun for the whole family. And yeah, did it with hairpins. I'll talk more about it later if I can get through with all of this. Always have an extra body cap and a lens cap when you're getting ready to do a cleaning session, especially if you're doing the sensor. I just happen to have another lens. Oh, I know what it is. The front element on this lens is so deeply recessed into the lens that you might not be able to see what I'm doing. So I've got a lens, yeah, see? It's way down in there. No, you can't see. Of course you can't see. Now you can. This is where, sorry. Yeah, it's way down in there. Beautiful lens, but yeah. So we're going to probably use this. It'll be a bit easier for you to see. We're also going to say a little something about one of these, because what I'm getting ready to show you should not be done on one of those. I'll tell you that right now. You're only going to need 2 liquids. Well, actually 3. One is, yeah, that doesn't look very clean, but it is. One is, what is this? Alcohol. I remember because of the yellow band. Don't ask me why, but that's alcohol. And this is deionized water. Okay? You need a fresh battery. You need a light, like that, so you can see what you're doing, with a cord that's long enough to reach over to where you happen to be that day, unlike this one. And probably the most important thing of all is these Q-tips. And I don't think they are Q-tips. I think they're made by some other company, but they've got wooden shafts on them, and the reason I use them is because they do not leave lint. They are the best Q-tips for whatever you're doing. Some medical procedure like jamming them into your ears, they're good for that too. They're good for putting up your nose. Children love putting them up their noses. And yeah, so they're a good all-round Q-tip. But the ones I use for this application of cleaning my lens, they stay in this box, and only the Q-tip box is opened and dumped in here. This is never opened except to take out 1 Q-tip at a time. You're going to need 6 Q-tips per lens. 6 Q-tips per lens. You do the math. All right. There's other stuff that you can use, and one of the things that we have to use is a little bit of sensor cleaner, because we're going to do the sensor, and some kind of a sensor cleaning swab. I rather like these ones. I don't know who makes them. I don't care, really, but they're very nice. These are the same thing. Maybe, actually, these ones might be a little bit nicer, the BSGO ones. Yeah, we'll use that tonight. Now, I have a glove that I will occasionally put on if I'm doing a whole bunch of lenses, and I'll put it on one hand only and just handle the lenses like that. But you know, we don't handle lenses like that most of the time. Why do we need to put a glove on to do them, you know, when we're cleaning them? So yeah, it's best to stick with stuff that is familiar. Don't do too much unusual stuff. The last thing I wanted to show you was, yeah, my real sensor brush is right there. That never comes out of the tube except when I'm cleaning my sensor. Let's do that first. Let's clean the sensor, then we'll clean the lens. No, let's clean the lens first because it's right here. Okay, so here's the deal. With the lens, you're going to do the same thing a total of 6 times to the lens, and this is it. Take your lens and do this sitting down in a comfortable place, so that you're not distracted. And yeah, it's very easy to, in a moment of not paying attention, to knock one of these things on the ground, and they just don't like that. They don't like being bounced off the ground. So lay your Q-tips, actually just leave them in the box is the best thing to do. Leave them in the box and take them out one at a time. I take them out with my right hand, and I pick up my lens that I'm going to clean with my left hand, and that's it until it's finished. Water and alcohol. The alcohol is 91%, but it's a 50% solution. So it's dilute alcohol and deionized water. And the third liquid you're putting on is dryness. It's nothing. So we're going to use 2 wet swabs and a dry one. So grab your stick without touching either end. Now, some people will do one end and then they'll flip it around and do the other end. I throw it away after I've done one because I don't know if that's for me or not, but I won't look. If you touch this, it's going to get oil on it from your fingers, and once it has oil on it from your fingers, you're not going to be able to clean the lens with it. So what I do is, you know what, I just realized that I had the wrong microphone on. Guys, I'm so sorry. Gosh almighty. You've probably not been able to hear too much of what I've been saying, but I am talking right into that crappy microphone. I'll fix that right now. In fact, yeah, I will, because I need to be able to, you to be able to hear me. This is really turning into one of those nightmare thingamajigs. Let me see. Actually, it's easier than I thought. Yes, I had the microphone already. Can you hear me now? Let me see. Can you hear me now, I wonder? Let me see. Yep, okay, all right. So you were able to hear me. All right, this I put down on the desk. I'm now going to ditch that one. I'm really particular about keeping the Q-tips oil free and dirt free. So reach in, grab the stick of another one, and like I say, it's okay to grab one end of it because you're not using but one end. What you are using is 4 quadrants of it though. Let me show you what I mean. Grab the Q-tip like that, and the first thing is the alcohol. Now, you're not going to get the Q-tip soaking. You're just going to dip it in. Well, I won't do it again. I'll do it with the end I'm not going to use. You just dip it in and straight back out. And it will be wet, but it won't be sopping. It won't be dripping wet. This is the alcohol. And start on the front or the back. It doesn't matter. Just do it the same way every time. Then what I do is I take the Q-tip, I put it at the top of the lens, and then as if I was inoculating a petri dish, I wipe the alcohol backwards and forwards across the lens with the flat part of the Q-tip. Very gently. I am not pushing on this, I'm just wiping. Then I turn the lens 90 degrees, I turn the Q-tip 90 degrees, a quarter turn, and I repeat. Same exact move, and I don't even move my hands. Then I turn the lens again, turn the Q-tip again, another quarter turn, and do it again. Like so. Then I turn the lens back to its original position, and the Q-tip, well, back to its fourth segment, and give it one more going over. So I've used the same alcohol Q-tip, but the 4 different faces of it to clean in 4 different directions across the lens. Now, right away, I throw that Q-tip away and I grab a clean one. This goes in the DI water, but it only goes half the way in. So just dip it in at the end. Do the exact same thing you just did. I will go fairly fast because I like it to have the moisture on there. So I'm going backwards and forwards in straight lines from top to bottom and turning the Q-tip between each pass. And that's it. So you're never wiping dirty Q-tip on the lens, ever. Throw that Q-tip away, and your third Q-tip on the front is a dry one. Don't put anything on it, just do exactly the same thing that you just did. This I do a little bit slower. Go all the way across, I'm not putting any pressure. Then I turn it, and do it again. You get the idea, right? This would be fairly boring to watch somebody to do this on every lens. But this is what I do, it's how I clean them. and they get absolutely shimmering clean doing this. And I've never had a problem with the coatings. And when you're finished, there will be... Oh, I did forget one thing. I'm sorry. This is deionized water, but it has 1 drop of rinse-aid, the dishwasher rinse-aid, 1 drop in 100 ml of the water. And that's what I use for this part. So that's it. Alcohol, the water and the despotter, and then a dry swab. Then I turn the lens over and I do exactly the same thing with 3 new swabs. Then I move on to the next lens. You know, probably the most protective thing you can do in your lens and camera maintenance is develop boring habits, because it's the boring habits that almost guarantee you're not going to do something daft or try to do something else with your hand while you're holding an expensive lens. You only have to drop one of these things once to realize just how delicate they are. So that's the routine, and that's the way I do it every time. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be interested to hear how you do it. I'm not saying that mine is the only way or the best way or anything of the sort. It's just the way I do it. And I've been doing it that way for a long time. I'm real happy with it. I'm going to show you now how I clean my sensor, which is a little bit hairier. I think a lot of people get a bit anxious about it. You really don't need to. It's not that delicate, you know. It's delicate, but it's not going to fall apart on you. So we can put up the water and the alcohol. Normally I have a white and a yellow cap that goes on these bottles, or a sticker that goes on the cap is what I meant to say, so that I know which lid goes with which liquid. Yeah, and then these go... Actually, I throw these out and mix a fresh lot the next time. So that's that. Now we're going to get to the sensor, but before we do, so that I don't forget, I am going to tell you the thing I need to tell you about the Mitutoyo. Mitutoyo objectives were not initially designed to be consumer lenses. They weren't made for people to access them. They weren't, what do you call it? They weren't customer serviceable, which meant that a lot of people recommended that you don't clean the lenses, that you don't clean the front or rear element like you would normally do with an optic, because of the coatings and because they are applied in such a way that they may not be stable when you're scrubbing on them with Q-tips. I have asked a lot of people who are in the business and in the business of selling these and taking care of them, and I have not been able to validate those rumors at all. So, you know, I do clean my lenses, but I clean them with deionized water, a very small amount on one of these Q-tips, and I do the exact same thing you saw me do with the camera lens, minus the alcohol. So it would just be, now as I've got it open, I should just do it real quick. That was barely the tip of the Q-tip in the water, and then just the same backwards and forwards, quarter turn, quarter turn. You can see it probably more clearly here than you could with a camera. Quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. I don't believe that wiping this water and the drop of rinse-aid is going to do anything to a lens that is used to having solder splashed on it on production lines. So I think a little gentle wipe with a Q-tip is not going to hurt it. And sometime look at the Q-tip that you are pulling off your lens. You will be amazed how much particulate dirt is on these things. Yeah, this one needed a good cleaning actually. So there you go. That's it. That's how I clean the Mitutoyos. I'm just super cautious with these things. They're so beautiful and I don't want to do anything to hurt them. Same with diopters. I do exactly the same thing with all glass stuff. Okay, let's clean the sensor. Now, to clean a sensor, you're going to do it, I do it in 3 steps. Now, you'll see a lot of people will take a photograph and document the fact that there's dirt on the sensor. Well, I know there's dirt on the sensor because I can see it in my photograph. So I don't do that unless I have residual dirt that is worrying me for oil or something. I don't routinely take those pictures. So what I do is I just go straight to the cleaning, and if I'm going to the trouble to clean the sensor, I do a wet cleaning as well as a dry cleaning every time. Now, you'll find people say you shouldn't do that. Yeah, if a dry cleaning's good enough, then that's all you should do. But you'll see it's really not that big a deal. Fresh battery, that is a big deal. Freshly charged battery into the camera, turn the camera on. Make sure that I'm going to put it back into single shot mode. I'd had it on the rail. We're going to take the lens off, which is always a good idea. And what we'll do is we'll leave it open. When the camera is open, it's best to leave the opening in the body facing down. Things will settle into it if you leave it the other way up. So the idea is to be fairly quick. If you turn your camera on and then go to the menu, and what you want to do is go to lock mirror up for cleaning. Now what this does is it raises the mirror and holds it up and keeps it there until you turn the camera off, and then it closes the mirror. So the idea is it needs to have power to do this. Okay. The clean image sensor is a little vibrating motor that supposedly knocks things off the sensor. I've never noticed it to make any difference myself. So what you'll do is you'll toggle this to start, and when the shutter release button is pressed, the mirror lifts, and to lower the mirror you turn the camera off. So that raised the mirror, and there you can see, probably not very well, the enormous sensor in this camera, or not enormous sensor, the enormous number of megapixels. Okay, there it is. So can you see it? It's probably, oh, it's pretty actually on the camera like that. What I do first is I give it a dust blowing. So I hold the camera upside down. Okay, I take my blower and I use the one with the pointy nozzle on it that I only use for cleaning. I'm going to move this light out of my way, and then I give a few good steady puffs right onto the sensor with the camera upside down. That's it. That's it. If that didn't clean off any particulate matter that was on there, we'll get it with the next step. The next step is using the brush. This is a sensor brush. I do this because I'm always afraid if you put a wet swab on my sensor, I'm going to drag a piece of grit across the glass. That I don't want to do. So I use this brush, which I only use for this. This is the only thing this brush gets taken out of the tube for, is to clean my sensor. And this is what I do. I take it out of the tube and it's in a plastic packet. I don't get my fingers anywhere near the bristles. They've never been anywhere near the bristles. Grab it with my right hand. This, by the way, is a DSLR brush, 16 millimeters. Now I'm going to put that right there because this is going right back in. Now what I do is I take my blower and I blow cold air through the bristles vigorously. It's best if your blower isn't pointing in different directions. Blow the air in one direction and it'll build up a hefty static charge in here. Then what I do is I take the brush and I don't know if you can see this properly or not. I very, very gently wipe the tip of the brush across the sensor, barely touching the surface, and then pull it out. That's all I do. This is a magnet for dust, and it will suck the dust up off the sensor just in that one pass. Now, this is actually for a crop sensor camera, but I don't like using the wider one. They make a 24mm one. And this goes right back in the tube and it won't be touched. If I can find the opening to it, there it is. So that's the second step, and the last step is the wet cleaning. And that is the same thing that you've probably seen a million videos of, though it's beyond simple. I don't know why people make it as complicated as they do. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these flat swabs out of its case without touching it. We're going to put a drop of cleaner. Actually, I like to use 2 drops of cleaner because they come out really tiny. And then we're going to wipe it across the sensor in one direction and then back across the sensor in the other direction. That's it. That's the whole cleaning. So let's open up the thing. This is a full frame swab. You know, I use these full frame swabs on crop frame cameras because they have a 24mm wide pad at the end. So if you just go up and down instead of side to side on your APS-C camera, it does exactly the same thing. So you don't have to buy 2 different sizes and go to all that expense. You just use these in a different direction. These are single use, needless to say. So once it's out, the key is not too much of this juice, just 1 or 2 drops. You're probably better off with less than more. Now, I don't even know if that one hit it. That one did. I don't think the first one did. There we go. All right. So 2.5 drops. And then what we're going to do, let me position the light so that you can hopefully see in. You'll understand if the most important thing for me right now is that I can see in, because yeah, it's my sensor. All right, so let me try to get positioned so no, you're not going to see that. I'll pull the light down a bit. Can you see that? Yeah. Is it in focus? Yes, it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the swab at one side, just going to rest it ever so gently on the sensor like so, wipe it down in one direction to the end, lift it, turn it and wipe it back in the other. That is it. Don't waste any time in turning the camera off and closing that mirror, and then get the lens cap back on, and you are done. That is all there is to it, and this gets thrown away. So let me switch cameras. That is it. Now, when I do this myself with good light, I take my time with the swab, and I don't have any qualms about passing it 3 or 4 times over the sensor if I can see dirt, I'm just not as squeamish about sensors as some people. But you do need to do this. If you don't do this, you're leaving good shots on the table, because a dirty sensor, it makes for terrible pictures. So that's it. That's most of the routine maintenance I do. There's stuff I do with a microscope that is that's similar. I clean the objective lens on the microscope the same way I clean a camera lens. It just unscrews from the bottom. Well, I'm not going to take it off right now. Clean the eyepieces of my microscope with the same swab technique. Yeah, that's about it. It's just not that complicated. Any questions? Any complaints? Anybody agree, disagree? Let me see. I am going to I'm going to sort out this studio once and for all. What I'm thinking of doing is taking a couple of days when things aren't quite so hectic, and rearranging the studio into a permanent setup, so that I don't have to chase around figuring things out at the last minute, which just seems to be a recipe for disaster. Does anybody out there do lock picking? Has anybody tried it? It is so much fun. Richard Feynman, the physicist, he used to do it as a hobby. That's why I gave it a try, because if it was good enough for him, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, I learned how to pick these padlocks in an hour. And yeah, I can open every lock in my house now, even when I don't have the key. So you should try it. It's great fun. I made my own lock picks. I've lost them though. Great fun, great fun. Let me see. Everybody can hear me loud and clear. Jeff Martin needs a lapel mic. I do, but I need one that fits into the Mac. It doesn't work with the lapel mic, not on OBS. It drives me nuts. Let me see. Yes, it is a bad thing, actually. Proud liberal. Let me see. Yeah, lapels. These are lapels, aren't they? I could wear a lapel mic there. It would look pretty trendy on me, I think. All right. ROR, Toluca. What's that? That's a joke of some kind, probably, that I'm missing. Michelle just takes the little brush thing to get the dust off the lens. Yep. This is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but you know, if you're taking pictures in, I used to take a lot of pictures in clubs and things, and the lenses would get like layers of nicotine and tar and stuff all over them, and just be in awful shape if you didn't keep them clean. So I just got in the habit of keeping them clean. By the way, somebody once asked me, why do you have a microfiber towel on your list of stuff for cleaning? That's so that I can clean the outside of the lens. I use the microfiber cloths to clean cameras and lenses and screens on the back, that type of stuff. But I don't use microfiber cloths on the lenses. You don't know where they've been. And even if they've been washed, you don't know what's in the little holes in them. I have wiped a gritty piece of microfiber across one of my EL Nikkors. Yeah, and it damaged it. Oh, I know what you're talking about, that ROR stuff. There's another name for it though. I can't remember. I was going to show you the eyeball. I'll do it. I'll do it. It won't take but a second, because it's really pretty obvious, and I think that this camera is actually going to work for it. So if you need to go, just go. Don't wait on my account. We're not going to use the microscope. I'm just going to, because this butterfly's got enormous eyeballs. So now don't be alarmed that one of his wings is missing. That was a thing I did. So here we go. You can't see it. Let's aim down a bit. This is a lovely swallowtail from South America somewhere. And this eye I cleaned, and it is amazing. I'll take well, actually, You know what? I'll take a phone picture so that you can see it. But this eye was covered in a grey sludge, the same as this one. And this is all you do, or all I do, to clean it. I use a fairly strong solution of Decon 10%, which is about double what I normally use. 10%, and I have deionized water in the other one. And all I do is I take a very fine, oh, you can't see it, a very fine tipped paintbrush. Now this is very fine. And I have discovered some even better paintbrushes, by the way. My daughter uses them to paint acrylic nails, and they are very tiny, even smaller than this. Dip your brush in the Decon, and then under the microscope, preferably, put the drop right on the top of the lens. Did you see that? One drop right on the top of the eye, not lens. And gently wipe it over the lens. Give it a 10-second count where it just sits there. Take another drop, and after about 10 seconds, start cleaning the eye with a backwards and forwards motion of the brush. And you will actually, you probably won't because the light's so bad, but you might see the, oh, that turned it off. You might see the grey stuff coming off. Let me see if I can get this. I think it's a lost cause, guys. I'll just do this next time when I can figure out how to do it under the microscope. But this is the motion, side to side like that with the tip of the brush, and it will just lift off all of that gunk that's on there. So I'm wiping with the tip of the brush, and whenever I get to the edge of the eye, I'm wiping in the direction of the scales, not against the scales. Or as you come around the top, the scales are actually going up the way, so you want to paint up towards the top of the head. And that's it. Doing this under the scope, you'll see that you're lifting all of the grime off, and it changes color. And when you're done with that, rinse it about 5 drops of water like that. I just keep the brush loaded up, and I'm trying to run water over it, but I don't want to get so much water in that it mats into the scales down at the bottom, and you have to then dry it. So just enough to get rid of the Decon, because otherwise it will eat the eyeballs. And I leave them a little bit damp like that, and they will look fantastic in the picture. All right, that was quick. We covered everything, even though I was late and I didn't have a microphone. And yeah, where can you have so much fun with somebody so incompetent on a Tuesday night? Probably nowhere. Yeah, tell a friend. Yeah, if you've got a friend who's incapable of doing anything technical, have them come. They'll love this. It'll make them feel right at home. I will see you guys on Thursday if you're interested. We've got something fun happening on the Euro macro talk. I can't remember what it is though, because my brain has been wiped clean by this evening's activities. But whatever it is, it'll be fun. I will put a notice everywhere so that you can see when Saturday's fun is going to begin. And yeah, take care, be safe. Thanks for coming, and sorry, just that goes without saying. Take care. I'll see you guys next week, if not before. Oh, snapshot 1. What is Decon? Sorry, Decon is Decon 90 is radioactive decontamination fluid. That it's used for victims of fallout. It's sprayed on and scrubbed onto them, and it's got every surface active agent and detergent you can think of. It's very caustic, and it lifts the radioactive particles off people who've been exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. It also cleans butterfly eyes beautifully and does other miraculous things. If I'm ever doing anything in macro and it doesn't seem to be working, I get some Decon 90 and try that, and it usually does. Sorry, I should have said that, shouldn't I? That was bad on me, but thanks for asking. That's the right thing to do. You're not a fan of the Q-tip? Yeah, there you go. Yep. Well, I agree. Yeah, so long as you keep the lenses clean. But I hated Q-tips until I found these wooden ones, and these are the best. So there you go. Yeah, you're right, Sam. I mean, if you are really ham-fisted, I wouldn't go digging. But then again, if you're that ham-fisted, I'd send your camera to somebody to fix it for you, to clean it for you. But there you go. Let me see. Oh, Michelle, I need to find out. Oh, that's the name of the channel, a lock-picking lawyer. Excellent. It's really, really fun. You should try it. It's not difficult at all. In fact, it's staggeringly simple once you figure out what they're talking about. Let me see. David loaded 2 photos to the contest, but could only got one automated response that says it accepted that one. You know what? If Curly Toes is still here, he will have seen this and he has probably checked it out. But if he hasn't, don't worry. If for any reason your picture doesn't show up, well, go see if it showed up over on Discord. It'll be there in the competition area. And if it's not, just let me know or let Michelle know, and we'll get it in there. Yes, Bud is reminding me. I just turned off my. Took my lens off without turning the camera off, thinking it was already turned off. That was a mistake. I should have pointed that out, but I was already embarrassed enough for the other mistakes. He's absolutely right. Yep. Joseph is coming down on my side. With not that I picked a side for it, but Joseph says that thing about the static charge is not a thing at all. Anyway, I'll let you guys chat that. It's something to do with CCDs. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Snapshot. Send me an email. I will mail you some Decon. I gave some away this year, and I have a little bit left. So send me an email to contact at Allan Walls Photography, and have in the title Decon, DECON. Send me your address, and I'll email you a bottle like this, and you'll get instructions for it and everything. We'll tell you how to use it. Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you for coming, and there you go. I'm not going to say sorry again. Sorry.